Okay.
How's it going, dude?
Pretty halfway decent, in fact.
Neat.
And we're standing up here to initially welcome you all to this monthly event.
And also to have a partially pointless conversation about the cold weather. In an awkward way. Cue the awkward silence.
Yeah.
Okay, alright.
We don't have any laugh tracks. I'll put it in later, okay?
To us, for those of you who are willing to brave the elements to be here now. And warms my heart a little bit. But that said, is there anybody here who hasn't been here before?
Any new members?
Because
Anyone new to the
I'm not
Collab
here
fam?
all the time, you know, and I'm not always here, so I don't always get to see people who have been here.
Hey dude, who are you?
Me?
Yeah, who are you?
I am the one known as Mr. Kisler.
It's a scary guy.
Scary. Well, yeah, you could call me that too.
And I'm Nadia. Nice to meet all of you. And welcome to our Collab Night. We would like to thank our lovely hosts, Good Beans, and the Creative Alliance. Long live Good Beans!
Yay, Good Beans!
We're approaching the 15th year, I think. It's kind of halfway there.
Yes.
All right.
March, we begin our 15th year of business.
All right, so that's in about a month or so, or less than a
Last month, we
month.
began our 6th year of Creative Collab.
We're gonna run some kind of
Really?
celebration.
Wow.
We should have a celebration.
As of
We'll
January.
celebrate tonight.
As of January, it was 10th year of Creative Alliance.
Wow.
10 years.
I think we should have a round of applause. Let's do that right now.
Yay! We're almost a teenager.
So tonight, in the spirit and the fashion of our collab and collaboration, collab night, our collab fam, we are going to have many acts, or some acts, and some will be music, and some will be poetry, and some may be spontaneous and improvisation, and some may be collaborative, and some may not be. But
Since everybody is familiar, nobody's new here, we don't need to go too much into the process of signing up and all that, because everybody knows that.
Because you
But I
know.
will say, if anybody is into tea, then I would suggest the kombucha green tea. Quite tasty. I just had some. I was pleasantly surprised. So yeah,
So-
there's that.
throughout the night, we will be plugging you in with many events, including one that I'm going to repeat more than once because I'm coordinating it. If you make visual art, raise your hand. If you have an inclination to make visual art, raise your hand. If you are curious about making visual art, raise your hand. If you like to talk about art, raise your hand. Okay, so if you like art in general, raise your hand. Okay, so we're done raising hands. This Friday at the Flint Local 432 from 6 to 8, the Creative Alliance Voices publication is having a workshop with John Dempsey as guest speaker, and I will get into that after we get our first act, because you guys want to hear us talk all day. We have Corey Planck up here to start
I don't
us
have a
up.
guitar.
Corey's
Some
a no-go.
guitar out there.
Okay.
I'm gonna put an
There's somebody
asterisk.
that'll let me use that.
Well, if somebody makes like some oh hey Tom,
Hey.
there you go. Hey dude.
What's up?
All right, introduce yourself because you came in late.
I'm Sam.
All right, cool.
He
I
is
was gonna-
Sam.
Do you want-
He is Sam.
so-
I am.
This is
But
me.
I am not Sam. I am Tom.
I was gonna use
Okay.
Alan's guitar.
Next time, be on
Kyle's not coming here.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Whatever.
So Corey will come later.
I put an asterisk next to your name.
We won't
Yeah.
forget you,
Kind
man.
of like
We
the
won't forget you.
athletes that do steroids.
Okay. So Gary, you're our first act. This is our local Flint historian with plenty of historical
Yeah, high
information.
five, Gary
And a
Flynn.
really
Yeah.
cool part.
And the future
Give a
MC
hand.
to the match game. Flint style.
Before I read my piece, Jenny asked me to plug an upcoming event that the Creative Alliance will be holding later on this year. And by the way, How many were at Churchill's last Friday for the dating game?
Yay, dating game!
That went real well, even though a couple of contestants were rather intoxicated or high.
Or both, or...
Yes. And the next planned game show staging is based upon a very funny game show that you can probably still see on, if you get Game Show Network.
YouTube.
And it's also on YouTube if you look on YouTube under Match Game. That was a game show that was very popular in the 1970s and 1980s, in which two contestants try and match most of a panel of 6 celebrities, or in this case, 6 Flint notables.
Flint famous.
Flint famous, actually. And I would usually be reading these from index cards, and the panel would be writing their answers on index cards, so that when they're told to reveal the answers, they would flash the index card to indicate what they wrote. And I'll give you some examples. One I just came up with was, Mr. Vern said, "You won't believe what we found in the rubble of Genzi Towers. We actually made a little money because we found blank." And so the object is to fill in the blank. And so the contestants would say what they think the panel would say.
Yeah.
And then the panel would reveal their answers.
Yeah. Okay,
Some
cool.
other examples.
Okay.
This was inspired by an actual match game question. Ron said, "I went to a Coney Island that was so sleazy."
How sleazy was it?
I'll tell you how sleazy. The hot dogs had blank.
Ooh. Blank. You have to fill in the blank for the game.
Yeah, so you fill in the blank.
Cool.
And
That's gonna be fun.
yes, another good one, which involves one of the local reporters on the local TV station. The news director at NBC 25 has a way to improve the station's ratings. To have a news report in which reporter Kristen Aguirre has a blank done.
Ooh. Have to find out who she is so we can
Yeah.
make up a word.
Well, you can tune into Channel 25 News in the morning before the Today Show comes on, or during the break at 25 after or 5-2, and you'll get to see usually Kristen Aguirre reporting the news in the morning,
Okay.
in case you didn't know who she is. So those are examples of questions. I'll come up with some more questions.
Okay.
You can see some examples on the Creative Alliance Discussion Board Facebook page, which also has an example video of the match game. And again, you can see more examples on YouTube.
Okay.
Now, what I'm going to read is a chapter from my book, Remembering Flint, Michigan, which is available at local bookstores and online, and also the back's in my car, for $19.99. Pay for the queue.
Oh, only $19.99.
Only $19.99.
Only $19.99.
I'll be there.
Now, the reason why I'm reading this piece is I have an update to report after I finish this piece, which I wrote. This is probably the angriest article I wrote for the Uncommon Sense, which I adapted for this book. And it's about a radio station which was among the first ones in Michigan to go on the air. However, it did not have a happy ending, but that ending fortunately has gotten a little bit better. The chapter is called Goodbye WFDF. In 2005, an institution that was part of the Flint area for 83 years broadened its reach and shifted its target audience towards Detroit. Flint's first radio station, WFDF, now, this was back then, now better known as Radio Disney, broadcasting on the AM dial at 910 kilohertz, moved its transmitting facilities from its longtime Burton location at the corner of Bristol and Howe to new, larger transmitting facilities near Carlton in Monroe County, southwest of Detroit. The station is now licensed to the Detroit suburb of Farmington Hills. WFDF's founder was Frank D. Fallon. Fallon was born in Fort Wayne, Indiana on January 13, 1890, and came to Flint from Wisconsin in 1905. His interest in wireless radio began as a hobby in 1909. From 1912 to 1915, he attended the Marconi School at Columbia University. He freelanced and studied in Europe before he returned to Flint to open Flint's first radio station. The station was licensed by the U.S. Department of Commerce on May 25, 1922, with the call letters WEAA at 1070 kilohertz. The call letters were changed, using Fallon's initials, to WFDF in 1925. On the first day of broadcasting, July 10, 1922, the signal was heard as far away as Long Island, New York. The station's first home was in the Walsh Building at 310 North Saginaw Street. During the summer, large crowds would gather on the Saginaw Street Bridge to listen to concerts amplified from one of the windows of the building. Fallon also operated the station for a short time for the Flint Police Station, where a small staff helped police by broadcasting descriptions of stolen cars and wanted outlaws, as well as airing public service announcements. The station's first remote broadcast in 1925 originated from Lakeside Park along Thread Lake near Pier Avenue, where Billy Mills and his orchestra were born. By that time, the station moved to 1280 kilohertz on the dial, then moved to 860 kilohertz the following year. It changed frequencies again by 1928 to 1100 kilohertz, and then to 1310 kilohertz by 1930. In 1940, WFDF increased its power to 1000 watts and settled on its present frequency, 910 kilohertz. The station also pioneered in other fields, broadcasting election returns, a Flint mayor's inaugural address, and excerpts of city commission meetings, which were later broadcast live. In 1928, WFDF moved to new studios and offices on the 16th floor of the Industrial Bank, now Mount Foundation Building, where it was used to present programs by the Flint Community Music Association and the St. Cecilia Society. The 2 hours that supported a long wire antenna are still in place. Fallon sold WFDF in 1933 to the Lowe brothers, but continued as president and technical director until he retired in 1952. Frank D. Fallon died on November 3, 1968 at McLaren General Hospital at age 78. He was survived by his wife, Dorothy Fallon. WFDF was part of radio's golden age in the pre-television era, airing early radio programs such as The Lone Ranger and other network shows on the Michigan Radio Network and the NBC Blue Network, which would become the ABC Radio Network after NBC was forced to divest itself of one of its two networks, the Red and the Blue. The station was sold in 1948 to the Trevitt Corporation, which tried unsuccessfully in the 1950s to build a TV station on Channel 12, losing the Goodwill Stations, Inc., the owner of WJR, which put WJRT on the air. WFDF also abandoned plans in the early 1950s to start an FM station. The station moved to larger quarters in 1952 at the corner of First Avenue and Garland, where the TV station would have been located had Trevitt won the rights to Channel 12. As TV took over as the prime source of entertainment, WFDF developed into a prime source for news and information featuring middle-of-the-road music. The money man for decades was Dan Hunter, who joined WFDF in 1948. Pete Sark was WFDF sports director. Betty Clark presented homemaking tips on a talking call-in show Party Line. In 1953, WFDF switched its network affiliation from ABC to NBC and aired NBC's now legendary monitor radio shows on weekends. In 1956, WFDF was sold to the Cowell Collier Publishing Company. In 1957, WFDF received authorization from the Federal Communications Commission to increase its transmitting power to 5,000 watts daytime and 1,000 watts nighttime, giving WFDF a strong signal north, covering the Tri-Cities and beyond. WFDF Flint Corp., a partnership of Howard Mack and Dan Cowan, became owner of the station in 1961, with Mack becoming sole owner in 1964. Mack died in 1967, and his widow, Fanny, became WFDF's owner. Veteran radio newsman Les Root joined WFDF and WTRX in 1970. Another noted reporter at WFDF was David Layton, who was later elected Genesee County prosecutor. In 1971, WFDF was persuaded to go after younger listeners by airing more rock music. This alienated older listeners until the station came up with a more adult, contemporary form, a mix of music. In 1976, WFDF switched its network affiliation from NBC Radio to CBS Radio, and in 1978 moved to state-of-the-art studios and offices in the Phoenix Building. It began broadcasting 24 hours a day. This carried the station through until the 1980s, when it started losing listeners to FM radio. Betty Clark, real name Betty Monis, retired in 1983 and now lives in Surprise, Arizona, 35 miles from Phoenix. The year 1985 marked the beginning of the end of WFDF as Fannie Mac Palavin sold the station for $750,000 to the owner of WDZZ-FM. The owner then fired 11 staff members while keeping Dan Hunter and Les Root. Except for Hunter, the program was satellite fed. WDZZ moved some of its operations to the Phoenix building. Hunter was happy when the station came up with an adult standards format featuring the big band music he loved. He retired in 1988. Dan Hunter died in 1995. He was succeeded by veteran broadcast personality Ed Berryman. Also in 1988, WFDF and WDZZ was sold for $6.5 million, and WFDF moved to 1401 South Saginaw Street to save rent money. The following year, WFDF joined WDZZ, sharing studios and offices at Genesee Towers. In 1999, both stations were sold for more than $7 million. McVeigh sold both stations in 1994 to Connoisseur Communications. The following year, the new owners changed WFDF's format from adult standards to news talk, but the transition to the new format was less than graceful. On October 30th, 1995, Ed Berryman began his 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. morning shift and was given an unfamiliar playlist of pop hits from the 1960s and 70s and ordered to air them. Berryman was unable to contact the station's general manager about the changes during the shift. So at the end of the shift at 10 a.m., the frustrated Berryman announced on the air that he quit. The 49-year veteran of Flint radio deserved better treatment by WFDF management. Berryman then moved to WFDE to host a similar big band nostalgia show until he retired. In 1997, Connoisseur added 4 more stations to its Flint station cluster by buying WWCK AM and FM, WOAP AM, which is sold, and WAHV FM, now WRSR. By 1999, Connoisseur has consolidated all the station studios and offices to the Flint Radio Center on Taylor Drive off Hill Road in Mundy Township. Cumulus Media, dum-dum-dum-dum. You know how I hate Cumulus Media. They bought the 35-station Connoisseur Communications Group, including the Flint cluster of stations in 2000. In 2002, Cumulus received an offer it couldn't refuse. ABC Inc. waived $3 million at Cumulus, and Cumulus sold WFDF to ABC, a unit of Disney. ABC's plans were to make WFDF the Southeast Michigan Stadium for Radio Disney. On August 15, 2002, WFDF changed formats from News Talk to the satellite-fed Radio Disney pop music format aimed at 9 to 12-year-olds and their moms. The following year, ABC applied to the FCC for a construction permit to increase the station's daytime power to 50,000 watts with the transmitter located in Monroe County. To allow that to happen, ABC bought an AM station in Fremont, Ohio, near Toledo, that operated at 900 kilohertz and shut it down in 2004. Also in 2004, ABC applied for nighttime power of 19,000 watts from the proposed Monroe County site, and also applied to change the city of license to Farmington Hills. The new transmitting facilities were completed and operational in 2005. During the testing phase, the WFDF signal was non-existent in Flint as the station was operating at reduced power from the new location. While the station was still licensed to Flint, WFDF was legally bound to maintain offices in the Flint area. The office is located in the Grand Mall in Grand Planck. The city licensed the change to Farmington Hills in February 2006. The towers of the former transmitting locations at the corner of Bristol and Howe, in use since 1940, were taken down in April 2006. Around that time, the local offices were moved to the Detroit suburb of Southfield. The station was currently licensed to Radio Disney Group LLC. It's sad that a pioneering radio station with a rich history has literally become a Mickey Mouse operation. Thanks to Marvin Levy and Betty Monis. Now for the update. Radio Disney decided to sell almost all of its radio stations and concentrate on offering its music via streaming audio. That included WFDF, which was sold to a religious broadcaster, the Word Network. And I think it was just last month, they changed format from Radio Disney to a religious format. So I'm proud to say that WFDF is no longer a Mickey Mouse operation.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you're into getting some religion, you could get your religion on 9:10 a.m. now. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
Good job, Gary.
Thank you very much, sir. Another round of applause for Gary. Gary, what's the name of your book?
Remembering Flint, Michigan.
Remembering Flint, Michigan. If you want more of that awesome Flint historical goodness, you must check out that book. You must purchase that book. If you would like to, please ask him about it.
Any true Flintstonians gonna want the history.
Yeah,
And this is the guy.
yeah,
To avoid repeating
This is the
things.
guy right there.
yeah.
So,
So, get at it.
Don't buy it from a
who's up
different
next,
guy.
Gary?
Now, at the top of the list, like I said, I put an asterisk next to
So you wouldn't forget this very
young Corey
important man.
Planck because he's a guitarist without a guitar.
Now I have one.
But now he's been granted one, and he's been granted the vehicle for his expression. Therefore, we're going to allow him to express himself right now.
Yeah.
Corey Planck, everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, Corey.
This dude,
One of the founding
he's
members.
a local legend. He's in like
One of the
about
founding
5,
members of
6
Collab Nite.
bands. You've probably seen him if you've ever seen any of the local bands. He's been
Yeah.
a part of
He
all
probably
of them at
dated
one
your
time
sister.
or another. So
Should
there
I
you
plug
go.
this thing in, Ken?
Yeah, take it to DI.
I'm gonna turn it down first.
Yeah.
Oh, is that where it goes?
Yeah.
How's it going? See if I can make this work for me. Check, check. Oh, there we go.
You got it.
Is that good? Check,
Yeah.
check.
Sounds gravy.
Groovy.
So yeah, thanks to Tyree and Nadia for hosting tonight, Jenny for recording, and Ken for having everybody. Thanks to Ashley for letting me borrow her guitar. Very kind of you.
You're welcome.
This is a Dylan tune. Kind of do it my own way. I'm gonna try something new here. There we go. That's much better. Maybe not. Check, check. When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I would offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When the evening shadows and the stars appear, and there's no one there to dry your tears, I would offer you a million years to make you feel my love. I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I would never do you wrong. I know that from the moment that we met, there's no doubt in my heart nothing that I wouldn't do to make you feel my love. The storms are raging on the rolling seas and on the highways of regret. The winds have changed, they're blowing wild and free, and you ain't seen nothing like me yet. I can make you happy, make your dreams come true. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do. Go to the ends of the earth for you to make you feel my love. To make you feel my love. Thank you. Warmed up before I really had nothing prepared. I was on my way out to Flushing for band practice, a band called Flea Flicker that I played bass guitar in. So I have my bass guitar in the car, but that's not going to do me any good.
Well, that was a beautiful warm-up.
Thanks. Unless somebody wants to get on the drums. I'm going to do one more for you.
Yeah, he'll get on the
We have
drums.
drums?
They're right there. I don't know whose they are. Wait, I mean...
You want house kid?
Oh, you were kidding?
Anybody else?
House kid.
Oh, house kid. Yeah, well, my bass is in the guitar. Not right this second. I'm gonna grab my bass. But we'll go on later. We'll sign up as long as there's enough time for it.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm gonna do one more on acoustic. But yeah, in a minute though, man. I'm gonna grab my bass guitar. And I think I can just run direct and turn it down a little bit. It's got active pickup, so.
Great.
This is a Frank Sinatra tune.
Nice, you get some bars with you.
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me know what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. For you are all I long for, all I worship and adore. you. Thank you. And I'm gonna give this back to Ashley. I'm gonna grab my bass if you really want to play drums later. And Terry's gonna improvise on the mic.
Improvisation. If you feel the urge, give Planck another round of applause.
Yeah! Yay, Corey!
Haven't had him up here in the dog's age.
Been a while.
Hey
Yeah.
Terry, tell them about the canvas.
I was gonna get to that,
What about it?
and I will tell you right now, because
All right.
what this is an open canvas
Open
for
canvas.
everybody who would like to touch it with some paint. So,
Somebody pick up a paintbrush.
We got-
Paint with us.
I will
'Cause we
say,
want to.
I will say this, artists are some of the most touchiest people
Come on.
that I've ever known, and I'm an artist, so I can say that. So, just so you know, this is a shared piece. Therefore, if anybody has something painted on the canvas, please leave it on the canvas and add your art to it.
Dude,
Can't paint over the
I
owl?
disagree with you. Not out of disrespect, but out of the fact that we are all making art together.
So I can just come paint.
Now you hear this? This is
I want
a
you to
touchy
paint
artist.
over there.
So what I'm saying is, you know, for the people who are really painters, don't get all bent out of shape when somebody adds something to the painting, because that's what it's meant for.
We're just having fun.
And for others, for when a person adds something, the final say goes to Jenny Monch here, who set this thing up of what gets to stay on the canvas and what might necessarily have to come off sometimes, you know?
So if you have any formal complaint, please send in your petitions
Or
to Jenny Munch
any
at the
money
following
that you
address.
might want to tip me with, you know.
Right, now,
I mean,
yeah, you can
anything
get her to
could
keep your stuff.
Stay on till the next, I don't know.
Right.
So we have to send our petitions to you, and
Yeah.
it needs to have 50 signatures minimum by a certain date and time.
You
So
just gotta
I
have
just
real
say that-
cash, that's about
I
it.
just say
That's
that
my
to
only
say,
rule.
if any time you see nobody up
Be
here
a donation to the CA,
or there's
okay?
an extra seat open, feel free to step up and add some color to it.
I got a paint.
You know, please. I would just say nothing like, you know, no profanity type stuff. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause it's
Do
like-
owls count as profanity?
No painting penises on there
I
either.
would say yes. So,
No, what did she say?
anyways,
No, I want to know.
at least 12 of these paintings are selected to go into a calendar, or have been the past couple
Wow.
of
Nobody
years.
buys a calendar, we quit doing that.
And they're cool though. They're cool. So the next time you see CA Creative Collab calendar out with
Yeah,
these
you-
paintings,
You can have one from like
Purchase
2 years
one.
ago if you want.
because that's some real guerrilla art style calendar right there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Nick,
Okay, so now we've got a couple people down here, which brings us to our third person on the list, skipping a line down. Somebody didn't want to be number 3, they wanted to be number 4. So my question is, since no one ever filled in the 3rd spot, is the one who's filled the number 3 spot, is the one who signed the number 4 spot, willing to be the number 3 spot?
Yeah, I'm flexible, man.
Okay, well, everybody, give it up for Lee.
Someplace up here there's a chord, right, Ken?
Yeah, it's this one right here.
Actually, try the other one.
You want to do the straight too?
Straight to the board, yeah.
Okay.
That was a little hot.
Oh, I could have turned it down, Ken.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, thanks, you know.
No, you didn't, just fine.
Terry
No,
is a self-serve MC, so thank you very much. You know, I'll goes up there now. I said Terry is a self-serve MC, so thank you, Corey.
Oh, yeah, I'm not plugging in chords and that.
Yeah.
Ass.
I know No, I know better. I learned the hard way. We can handle it. We can get it done. Kind of suffering the same sort of malady that a lot of people are. Nothing that's contagious, but you know, that stuffy head, probably half the people in there have the same situation.
Winter?
Yeah. Corey, that was really good, man. Good stuff.
The
Yeah, it's this kind of thing
cabin
that comes along.
blues or whatever?
And it's amazing, I mean, not to gross anybody out, but you can have all that mucus and everything, and you can be hacking it and coughing it up, I mean, by the quart. And it keeps reproducing more.
Right.
It's like, you know, there's somebody in there working saying, hey man, he's down
Like
the quart,
slime
let's jack him up
or-
again.
yeah.
But you can step outside here and fall and cut your arm on a beer bottle and bleed to death in a couple of minutes. There's nothing in there jacking that stuff up, you know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is.
Yep.
So it's good to see you guys tonight.
Good
Yay.
to see you too.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I hope you feel that way in a few minutes.
Yeah, just no hugging tonight, that's it.
That was a nice set that Corey did. Enjoyed that. Big boss man. Everybody's had one of these, right? Big boss man. Don't you hear me when I call? Big boss man. Don't you hear me when I call? Say you ain't so big. You just tall, that's all. Well, you got me working, boss man, working around the clock. Ask for a drink of water, you don't let me stop. Big boss man, don't you hear me when I call? Well, you ain't so big, you just tall, that's all. Well, it's a big job just getting by, 9 kids and a wife. I've been a working man my whole damn life, and I'll be working as long as these 2 hands are fit to use. Well, I drink a little coffee at the beanery, sing a little bitty working man blues.
Yeah.
Well, I keep my nose to the grindstone, work hard every day, get a little tired on the weekend after I draw my pay, but I go back working. Gotta buy them babies a brand new pair of shoes. Well, I drink a little beer in the tavern, I sing a little bitty working man blues. Well, hey, working man like me, ain't never been on welfare. There's one place I won't be, I'll be working. As long as these 2 hands are fit to use. Well, I drink a little beer in the tavern, I sing a little bit easy. Said I drink a little beer in the tavern, I sing a little bit easy. Had a few of those over the years. Always have to have the words nearby, because when you get to a certain age, you're just not sure that you can bring it up on command. Battery starts getting weak. sending out
And
low
it's
signal. Let's see here. Try this. You don't like my pictures, don't you? Shake my tree. How long must I wait? Well, can I get you now? Or must I hesitate? I woke up this morning about 4:30. Hesitation blues knocking on my door. Tell me how long must I wait? Well, can I get you now? Or must I hesitate? Well, can I get you now? Or must I hesitate? Well, I ain't your good man or your good man's son, but I can take this place until your good man can come tell me how long must I wait? Well, can I get you now? Or must I hesitate? Well, I'm not the doctor, I'm the doctor's son, but I can play the doctor till the doctor comes. Tell me how long must I wait? Well, can I get you now? Or must I hesitate? Well, I'm looking down the road as far as I can see. That man's got my woman and the blues got me. Tell me how long must I wait? Well, can I get you now? Or must I hesitate? Well, you can do me like this, or you can do me like that. But I'm here to tell you, mama, that I need some of that. Tell me how long can I wait? Can I get you now, or must I hesitate? Well, can I get you now, or must I hesitate? Thank you. Well, a blues song, you can mess them up and it's not really that noticeable, I don't think. Just the way they wrote them, and that was a Reverend Gary Davis, so that was a variation. If you sit down and take the time and learn the picking patterns on a particular song like that, I might have been able to have done it 20 years ago, but it's a little too time consuming. So I just get the chords, do the best I can. I got one more song, and then of course we'll get the next person up here. I mentioned this the last time. We lost a good friend, Ryan Bellows, and we're still, feeling the effects of that. In addition to that, I lost another good musician friend of mine. He passed away just 2 days ago. Went to his wake today. His name was Don Franklin, and I'm going to do a song. I know that both of those gentlemen would have liked this song. They both liked country music. And this other fellow that passed away, a friend of mine, Don, he had that kind of a George Jones voice, just a God-given thing. It was just that raspiness, that if you have a regular voice, like most of us, you'd have to smoke heavily, probably 2 or 3 packs a day for 20 years and knock down a quart of Jim Beam, every couple of days to get a voice like that, and then it probably still wouldn't be that. But anyway, he had that kind of a voice, and he would always do this song. Hi, Vern. There's been a lot of, you could have a lot of discussion about what is the best, most favorite country song ever written, the most popular song, or the most loved country song, and there's a lot of, like any genre of music, there would be a lot of them. But this song would have to be in the top 5 as far as I'm concerned. He said, I'll love you till I die. She told him you'll forget in time. As the years went slowly by, she still prayed upon his mind. He kept her picture on his wall. Went half crazy now and then. He still loved her through it all, hoping she'd come back again. Had some letters by his bed, dated 1962. He had underlined in red every single I love you. I went to see him just today. Oh, but I didn't see no tears. All dressed up to go away. First time I seen him smiling in years. He stopped loving her today. They placed a wreath upon his door. Soon they'll carry him away. He stopped loving her today. You know, she came to see him one last time. Oh, and we all wondered if she would. And it kept running through my mind. This time he's over her for good. He stopped loving her today. They placed a wreath upon his door. Soon they'll carry him away. He stopped loving her today.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, Kim? Thank you, Jared.
Thank you.
Jen?
Sir, thank you. We already got 3 down in this young night. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm looking at this list, right?
What are you thinking?
And I'm thinking we got 3 guitar player, singer types in a row. And I'm the type, I like to break things up a little. You know what I'm
So you
saying?
gonna spit something at us?
So I'm gonna have to step in and interfere with the rotation.
Okay.
See, I was signed way down under these folks, but I'm gonna put myself up in this empty spot right here.
Okay.
And since I'm emceeing and I got the clipboard, I can do that. And I get the final say on that, right?
Oh, you got a final
Is this a
thing with James.
dictatorship?
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
dictatorship. Ladies and gentlemen, Terry took over the stage. Give a round of applause.
Oh no, there's been an insurrection.
You have to pay taxes to you too?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. I take my taxes in many forms. So y'all can be creative with that.
Does that include a cup of coffee?
I prefer tea. I prefer tea, honestly, to coffee.
Good.
Is there any other tea to over coffee types in here? Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking. We're in the minority, but I'm used to it, so it's okay. It's okay. I'm just gonna take a minute to set up here as if I had like an instrument I needed plugging in and tuning and all that. Just picture me doing that like in your imagination.
Hey dude, can I throw in some plugins?
Yes.
All right. Okay, people of the Collab Nite and the Collab fam. I like that. So I'm probably going to use that very often. Couple of plug-ins for the night. If you are creative, raise your hand, because I ask that a lot. If you appreciate the creativity, let us know. So there's a place for you. There are many places for you, but one of those places is Churchill's, specifically on a Wednesday night. Do you know Wednesday is Odin's Day? Awesome. Random Norse mythology
Wednesday.
throwback. So Wednesday, Churchill's, 7 o'clock. You can hang with creatives like yourselves, called the Creative Alliance. Creative. Let me say that again. Creative.
Is that every Wednesday?
Every Wednesday, except for this Wednesday, because we're here.
So
So the third
Wednesdays
Wednesday for
here.
the month, we're here. We're not there, so don't go there because nobody will be there. We'll all be here.
If you go there
You
and
ready?
we're not there, come over here.
Yeah, the more the merrier. Join the fun. I was gonna say the club, but it's not a club. There isn't a membership. You're just free to come and go as you please, like a gypsy, sort of, I guess. Are you ready?
Not quite like a gypsy.
Are you ready though?
Huh?
Are you ready?
Almost.
I have another plug-in. If you make visual art and you write, and you would like to find a partner to make visual art with or write with, there's this thing called Voices, and it is a publication made by this thing called the Creative Alliance. Did I mention that at all tonight? I'm not sure. I might have mentioned it once or twice.
Which we're a part of the Creative Alliance, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. Possibly. It depends. Is there like free coffee involved? Not really, that wasn't funny. That was
There
awful.
is no free
I'll
coffee.
start Monday, there's coffee.
Free tea.
Yeah, but I'll talk about that later. Spoilers, lady.
I was just coffee, free coffee.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
That's real.
Why, thank
Next
you,
would
ma'am.
be,
That's so kind. Well, I mean, it's, yeah, drip coffee in a pot that's not professionally made like Edgar makes. Are you ready?
No.
Okay. More plugins.
I have.
Brian's
No.
got an open mic every first Thursday
At Lunch Studio.
at the lunch studio.
At
So
the
anybody who
lunch
wants to go to
studio.
his open mic, it's every first Thursday at the lunch studio, and that's Brian Pavkovich.
Yes. Additionally, there is Support Your Local Poet, which is every other month. So that happened the first Saturday, 9 o'clock at Churchill's this February. So the next one is going to be in April. So we have a bit of a ways. So in the meantime, you can practice here or at the lunch studio, and we'll all give you great feedback and support. Or if you want to workshop your work, I can plug that workshop in again because I'm organizing it. So it's this Friday at the local from 6 to 8, and John Dempsey's going to speak, and we're all going to sit under the Bedouin tent that's hand sewn from multicolored sheets. And are you ready?
I would like to say one thing about Voices too. Voices is one of our like top events. Really, for me, it's my favorite.
It's gonna be-
out of all the events we do,
Isn't it March
because
28th?
it's really about the collaboration and it's about inspiration. Two artists get together and they inspire each other to create new works, you know? And so any artist who's down with that, we combine a written artist and a visual artist, and they trade works, and then they create a piece inspired by those traded works. So to me, it's like a really, it's kind of innovative, really.
And the event is going to be March 28th, isn't it?
The
Yeah, it's
launch
March
event.
28th. And I will say, also that I will be hosting that event too, so that's even more reason to come.
Isn't Cool Cities the day
She-
before that?
Huh?
Isn't Cool Cities the day before that?
Is
Yes,
Cool City
is
the
the
day
March
before?
27th. Buy your tickets from Creative Alliance.
Yes, and if you want to donate art, for every $50 that you donate, you get one ticket, or you could also donate certificates. So like if you're a massage therapist, or if you have a store or something, you can give us a certificate and we can auction it off and you get tickets for it.
And does anybody not know what Cool City is? Or what it even is? This guy doesn't know what it is, so could you explain it to him? Briefly?
It's an auction, and the money, there's several venues, and each venue you get, it's a lot like an art walk actually, okay? But only there's just a fewer venues, and you can have a silent auction for all the art that's sitting out. And you know, whoever venue sells the art gets to keep the money. So like Creative Alliance, if you buy something at Creative Alliance's art auction, if you have art, what?
And there's food and wine at each
Yeah.
venue.
Yeah, like the art walk, you know. But there's only, like, there's a Creative Alliance is one of the venues at the Lunch Studio. And then GFAC is one of the venues. Buckham would be one of the venues, I think. And isn't there another one going to be at Yoga Loft or something? Does anybody know?
Possibly.
I don't know. Anyway, there's just a few venues.
Carousel in the audience.
Okay, it's going to be at Yoga Loft. Are those all the venues? Okay, and Justin has the tickets. $25, aren't they, if you buy them ahead of time?
Yep.
Okay. Look what
Buy
talking
them
about.
from Creative Alliance.
Yes, so we get the money for the tickets too.
Support your local artists. Anybody else have any plugins? Any events coming up that you would like to promote? All right, ma'am, please come to the stage.
Hi guys, this is not really an art plug-in, but this is a good community plug-in. It's for Big Brothers Big Sisters. And this Saturday, I will be bowling, which is going to be a riot because I don't bowl. And I'm looking for people to sponsor us. So anyways, I'm asking for $3 if people have it, maybe $1, maybe a quarter. I don't care because it all adds up so that I can raise money for my bowling. And Adam is also looking for money, so I'll plug in for you. Yay. He's bowling too. We'll see what kind of bowling he does. And if anybody's ever interested, this is the largest fundraiser for Big Brothers Big Sisters. It's every February. And they will be around the clock for, I think it's 3 days. I think it's 28 or 32 lanes going from like 8 in the morning to 9 p.m. Just group after group after group after group. So if anybody would like to contribute to my paper and give me money, I would really appreciate it. So, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
How much money?
Round for Lanie.
I don't care. It's some people like will say I'll give you 10 cents a pen, which means I'll make no money because I won't knock down pennies. Or you can do flat rate, and that way I don't have to go back to people and collect money. Just, you know. So, but like I said, last year I started out asking people for that's 2 years ago, for $3 a piece. Some people had it, some people didn't. Some people gave me 20. Some people gave me whatever, and then there was a bunch of people that gave me quarters on my campus, and I raised over $300. So I can basically 25 or 50 cents for people. It adds up.
Okay, that's cool.
Yes, just see me. Oh, and I have somebody blocked in back there, so if anybody needs to move their car and you're blocked in, I'm the culprit, just come get me out, move my car. It was cold.
All right.
I'm just gonna throw a rock at him.
All right, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna read a few selections here, written by me, and I think there is a sufficient amount of people here who probably haven't heard anything from me. So I'm gonna jump around a little bit, and the first one I wrote here is called The Traveler. Here I stand, all alone, mind with past my only home, for the day is far away from yesterday where I tried to stay. And now the snow is falling down, freezing the earth and covers the ground. inappropriate the cold can be, life in words can now be seen. Out to sea, tossed about by the storms, changed my route. Winter snow drifts around, swept by the wind as it falls to the ground. Numbered footsteps on a frozen trail, to the edge of the earth about to set sail. No footprints are made or left in my wake. I carry signs of my life and love that I take. And now the sun melts through the cold and highlights the waves and ripples of gold. How bittersweet the spring is today. Each cycle of growth seems bound for decay. I'm out to sea, tossed about by the storms changing my route. And autumn leaves drifting around, swept by the breeze as they fall to the ground. It's hard to breathe this hot summer's day. Mirage over hills confusing my way. Beating the earth with sweat from my face. No mercy and shade, I'm leaving this place. Now the sun slowly goes down on the horizon and sets like a crown. Takes a bow and gives to the night a landscape of stars and silver moon's light. I'm out to sea, her rumblings have ceased. I sail past the dark encompassed by peace. The snow and the leaves are no longer seen, buds on the trees, grass covers in green. So it's just, that piece is just kind of about going through changes. That's all.
That's lovely.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Nothing wrong with Terry.
No, not yet.
Why not? You
Because
can applaud for every poem. They're lovely poems.
No. But this one's different. I called it Copper Lights. So, under the street light, an image of an oil slick dawn, drawn across a puddle like 20 feet long. Song of the broken hearted ripples in the pond, broken bonds dearly departed carry me home. Ghetto melodies, frequent themes of despair and pain, blood-stained parodies darkening my mind frame. Slavery of the brain, can we break these chains? Let Uncle Sam take care of you and never see gains. I rage, push it all away to reimburse the day. I feign to know why my mind works this way. Surreal dark imagery, let it all be a dream. In the depths of reality, I hear a child scream. In a well filled with tears as my lonely thoughts stream. In the search for serenity's glorious scene. Melancholy memories have moved me imperceptibly toward a present I see lacking in pleasantries. Maybe I'll reverse my descent and fly above the trees, propelled by hopeful whisperings out beyond the sea. These are coherent ramblings of one who shook insanity. A moment of clarity forever fogged the mirror of my vanity and cleared my clouded mind enough to read between the lies. Now I find answers from on high written in the skies, where every day I witness the sun rise, bathed in an amber orange copper cascade beset before my eyes. That's that. Okay, this one I call treasure hunting. A colorful caterpillar cinches across a child's delicate fingers. Long after outward beauty fades, a lively love still lingers. Blowing buoyant bubbles as blossoms brightly bloom, busting with laughter as they burst, bellowing joy that fills the room. Weathered hands working, weaving wonderful winter wrappings, wonder at wavering winds held at bay by crafted trappings. A mother's moment made marvelous merely by the child's pleasure. A boy becomes a father with bountiful memories as his treasure. Down short.
Spell something?
Say what?
Is that poem spell something? I was trying to figure if it spelled something.
No,
A lot of
It
variation.
does? Okay,
I'm not that good.
okay.
That's not true.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Very good.
All right, so I got a couple more. I'm just going to
Can I borrow that?
really let y'all have it. All right. No, I'm just kidding. I was just kidding. God, under these lights.
Yeah.
So this one I call Purple Hearts. Our love at world's end, teetering at the edge of the abyss, reeling with a kiss, swaying with the willows amongst dancing will-o-wisp, falling with the leaves in an autumn of tongues, a breath in the breeze on the fabric of peace. The treaty written in our chests, giving war relief, we, the battle-weary, having lost sight of the conditions for victory, with each value compromised, the village burned, leaving the fading coals of passion dimming when I was emotionally MIA and you went AWOL. I guess we both are in Purple Hearts, with wounded pride and severed trust. War-torn lust has marred love's luster, and a campaign for domination of thoughts and conquering attention was perceived as just, where judgment prevailed and the trial is an afterthought. Justice and love, they say, bear the same malady. What began as a blind shot in the dark has now produced casualties. Having faced a firing squad of feelings for cowardice and desertion because a poorly trained private dove into a foxhole at the first sign of explosions and laid in a fetal position that would mark my first tour of duty. But that was then, and while the flashbacks won't end, I now stand a renewed man, bolstered by my ally once again. And that's that. Y'all get the part when I said love and justice bear the same malady?
Yeah, what's wrong with it?
Explain.
Huh?
Explain.
They're both blind.
Oh,
Get it?
yeah.
Okay.
Does it remind you,
You
of
are
your
so
mortality?
clever.
Do you find yourself trembling at the slightest sight of love following in spite of attempt for play or something?
That question was very poetic, but the answer is no.
Well, what's the plan, sir?
Unless I didn't understand it right, then maybe. No.
No, but there will be more. There will be
What
more.
was the poetic question, Nadia? Say it again.
I don't remember.
That was, she was winging it, trying to mess with me. Okay, so this last one I call Dream Quest. So, it's like this. I had a dream, and this is Black History Month. Need I remind you? So I too had a dream. That I was all alone sitting in my room. And everything seemed right. Everything seemed new. In the back wall, there was a patio with a view of a lush green field sparkling with dew. So I stepped outside, barefoot in the grass. Feeling so good, I wondered how long will it last. This here was a feeling I would never let go, as I strolled past the hills to where the tall trees grow. Well, hold up. Wasn't city lights here the night before? Where's all the filth and waste I don't see no more? There was no dope fiends, no pushers, no pour, no shots, no sirens speeding by at 4. And there was really no words to describe how I feel. Then I realized this must be just a dream. It was silly of me for a second to believe that this could be more than just a dream. But hey, there I remained, so I continued on. It's been a while since I seen the sun rise at dawn. I came to a clearing, saw a quaint little town. At the bottom of a valley, I began to walk down. On my approach, I saw so many children at play. It's been a while since the kids interacted this way, and everybody laughed, and everyone got along, and the love in their hearts emanated so strong, and I was struck dumb, fascinated by the charm, and they welcomed me in with open arms. No news of recession, no violence, no war. If I'm dreaming, I don't want to be awake no more. It was then I took flight across the pale blue sky. Everyone waved me on as I flew by. So free like a bird, I hope to come back soon. But my eyes began to open, I was back in my room. I went to my window and saw that nothing had changed. but the depths of my soul would never be the same. It was just a dream. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Alright. So next up would be Tom, right?
Yes.
Do you mind if I introduce Tom?
Why would I mind?
I'm just.
No, I want to introduce Tom.
Like you, man.
Well,
All right, no,
Like you.
you can introduce Tom. That's okay.
Well, thank you. Alright, I hope you guys give it up for Terry again.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's a proper.
Well, you did some really good stuff.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah.
Can I give a suggestion? I'm
Yes.
sorry to like interrupt, but like, I'm here out of town to watch my brother, and I gotta catch a flight
so
tomorrow.
you
Oh, let's hear it,
you
man.
want your brother to go next?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we have him go
He
next?
actually signed in like below.
Yeah.
And there was like blank
Can we do
spots.
that? Do you mind? Can we do
Whose
that?
Do
name?
you mind, Tom?
No, I do not mind.
Okay.
I
Okay.
appreciate it.
Okay.
So,
Great.
who's
Thank
your
you.
brother?
Thanks for.
Matt.
Matt. Okay, everybody. Oh, no way, Matt.
Nadia.
Dude. How could I nice to see you.
Beard.
I know.
It's winter.
Small
Guys.
world, y'all. Small
Guys,
world.
give it up for Matt. Matt's a writer. And also, yeah, show him your books.
I will. I'll do it real
He's a writer and a drummer
Okay, you really need to pay attention.
and other things, probably. Thank you.
Okay, so yeah. All right, let's figure this
Thanks
out.
everybody for coming out.
Okay.
Matt Selou,
Right.
we all miss our friend Ryan Bellows as well as Gary Custer,
Yep.
East Village.
Bud
Just
Miller.
gonna go real quickly. I've read a few things here before, so I'll just. How did we get here? It's my first book. 10 years of travel, Europe, Asia, Thailand, across the U.S. 10 years of travel there. I've read the introduction before, so. Also played my album. I play all the instruments. I don't use a computer. I don't use any fake stuff, programs. I just mic it up and play.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks. As well as a couple plays, the Telemarketing Dialogues, Season 1 and Season 2. And Shots Seen Around the World, a play on from an old term. And a new book. It's not published. It'll be published soon. This will be all on Amazon. But if you want them, you can come up to me. And I have mutual friends with Jenny on Facebook, Nadia. Fake quotes to live by.
Page.
So-
You have your books at Pages, don't you?
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't? You
No,
should.
I know. I went there and. So. Well, Tom, if you want to come up, I'm just gonna.
Corey.
My friend couldn't come up today, and so I just thought, well, I'm here, so might as well play.
I think Terry should have a mic too.
Yeah, anybody who wants to play,
Hey, maybe I can play.
I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
Start.
Which, yeah. Which one? Should I go into the,
Either one.
I'm gonna go into the DI.
That's amazing, yeah.
You need
Is there an
to.
extra input?
I just did that.
Better.
Still breathing, and life is an awesome thing. I planted seeds that I can finally see blossoming. Take these broken wings, you can learn to fly with me above the giant sea, beyond the reach of all the pirating. Standing in the sun, my flow is a vibrant spring, flow like a butterfly on the breeze fluttering, escaping gravity and all the saps taken or through a maelstrom. I couldn't be more scrappy. Left my light shine in the darkest place like what's happening. I am a strong boy, rooted since I was a sapling. I got a wealth of love for you, this is just a sample. It's the forest for the trees, but I'm still camping. In the land of mental midgets, we're colossal beings. I'm just saying, speaking on what I'm seeing. Can this movement really nurture growth around my dreaming? Tricking the jungles of my mind with all provoking lines. I'll take you through the maze, make the journey be sublime. And I will carry you on my breath. Across the shining sea, beyond the edge of suffering, where angels sing forever peace, I will carry you on my breath. I'm waiting for you, baby. Sacrifice your only child. Relocation, real tears, everybody's so foul. But I'm hard to emotions like a bird when it flies. A look of the crowd of passion. We're on a wall of lies. Exposed to the system where you share with their crimes. The newest form of socialism and culture. Color culture.
Disco.
In the mind while free thinkers get beat down, the truth murdered in time. Behold a pale horse sign of the time that very few know. That the softer got gunned down by government code. And you can close your eyes and ears, coexisting in bliss while others lace another baby with a cankerous kiss. That will walk in the path of our sons and the path of our daughters while you live out your days as slaves bound for the slaughter. Underground is still active, it's still leading the tide. Release the shackles of oppression, open the gates of your mind. Still void of subliminal music or off matter control. Fill up the ugly facts of life as the saga unfolds.
Ready. You get that one in there? You want this one? Or you're not, oh, I don't know if you're next, so music makes me high. This one here. Do some more. Do the whole thing.
Solo? I'll play if you want.
I'm not sure it goes, actually.
Yeah,
Unless we were doing something.
You have a song?
I had some stuff I was going to do.
oh, hey guys, if you want some singing, I can go ahead.
We could do something else. Let's see.
Well, look, while everybody's figuring this out, first of all, gotcha. First of all, everybody give a big shout out and big warm round of applause to Matt. And I would like to thank him for engaging in the true spirit of collaboration, because this is Collab Nite, and I'm always stressing collab. So yeah, that's what this is about, you know, bringing artists together to share and grow in creativity, you know? So,
The chicks dig it.
big shouts out for that.
I
And
like that.
we're gonna also segue into Tom here. Graciously gave up his position for Matt, and yet still made it up here anyway.
Yeah, it's like having your cake and eating it too.
So everybody give him a big round of applause. And then for y'all who did not see Corey Planck earlier, you missed out, but you can give him a round of applause if he was up here. And we're gonna
And Terry, give Terry a round of applause.
I'll accept your applause. I appreciate it. But, we'll let them figure it out, and right now, I guess, you didn't have anything else planned?
I got an
Well,
idea.
then
Collaboration.
Tom gets the call the shots now.
Okay.
Tom.
Okay. I got an idea. Can I talk to Mike? Since nobody can hear me, obviously,
What? Yeah.
Nobody can hear me, of course, so I gotta get the mic right. You know, I like this. Alexander the Great led an army of 175,000 men without a single microphone or any telecommunications. 175,000 men all through Asia Minor and into India and Afghanistan and places. Didn't have a microphone to his name at all. The Gettysburg Address, no microphone recorded that, but it's remember all the words of Jesus and Buddha, no microphones were out. And yet we think we have to have a microphone for a room this size. Are we sick or what? Really diseased, that's what I think. Hey, I got an idea. I got a blues that I wrote, and I'd like you want to step up and play? Can you pick up that bass again?
Yeah, sure.
It's a tongue-in-cheek blues because it's the white boy's blues whose worst problem is that he's so polite. That's
polite.
That's right. I mean, this is an unequal distribution of pain in the world. One more form of inequality. So it's got some lyrics, and I'll play it. But if you want to,
The engineer will be right back.
why? Which way is the train going?
Okay, he's back.
Where's the fireman when we need him?
What key in, Tom?
A.
Okay. Slow blues, what you want?
I'll just do it. No, I'll just do a little introduction, and you'll pick it up right away. This is I'm So Polite, and okay, well, we're good. I didn't never tune, but I guess we're halfway there.
Sorry, I might have messed you up there a few times.
Oh, we all miss each other. Wasn't that fun?
Yeah,
That was fun.
Yeah.
thought I was at the Golden Leaf.
Okay, now for a little shifting of the gears. Shifting of the gears in a real old car, it goes clunk, 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 and you get a little bit of screaming and some missing teeth and those "Rrrr!" Shifting gears, okay? Okay. I can do a little thing that I wrote for the sesquicentennial 150th anniversary of the town of Excelsior, Minnesota, where I lived for a while. And one of the distinguishing things about Excelsior is that the Rolling Stones played there in, I think, about 1964 or something like that. And Mick Jagger went downtown to this drugstore and tried to get a cherry Coke. And he didn't have it or whatever it was. And there was this guy named Mr. Jimmy who still lived there when I lived there in like the early 2000s. And he remembered this whole thing. And the song, you can't always get what you want.
Yeah.
Was written right there in Excelsior about that. And Mr. Jimmy, he was totally verified that it was true, and they even had him on KQRS, which is a major hit radio station in Minneapolis, or environs of Minneapolis, talking about it. Mr. Jimmy, yeah. If you listen closely, you can hear the thing about the cherry Coke and about Mr. Jimmy and that song. So anyway, this was the sesquicentennial of Excelsior, and they had a pageant, and a guy named Jeffrey Hatcher was a playwright, lived in Excelsior, so he wrote this play, and there was, all this off-the-wall stuff about what happened in Excelsior during the last 150 years, but anyway, I wrote this little overture for it, and this is what it sounded like. And here's the funny thing. Isn't silence funny? Here's the funny thing, that this didn't have any words, except when I was first conceiving of it, I thought of the words, "Lovely Excelsior, bonny Excelsior, how in the world did your village come to be?" One of the interesting things about Excelsior is that they wouldn't let any fast food franchises in there. I guess Pizza Hut made it or something, but other than that, they kept it really, original and quaint. But this is it. Okay, so it's lovely Excelsior, bonny Excelsior, how in the world did your village come to? So that's, I gotta reduce the bass here. How can I do that? Let's see. Got a little more bass. Okay. So this is the song when I came up. You guys turn the tonight. Okay. you, thank you. We just had Valentine's Day, and I learned along the way that in popular song and love songs, there's such a thing as a love negative lyric, which means about a love that's not working out, that's falling apart, or whatever. Love negative lyrics, and you know, it's not necessarily it's a negative thing, because if your heart's breaking, you got to sing about it, right? But it's just healthy to do that. But anyway, this is a song about heartbreak, and it's called "My Heart Wants to Break." There's one or two words in here, like like a flower on the lea, L-E-A, and that's an archaic English word for hillside. Some of you may, or I hear a nodding head. I hear a nodding head. Get that? I see a thought. Okay, so anyway. Wonderful. Yeah. So continue on to have a good night.
Thank you, Tom.
You too.
Okay, so
What's the time?
this happens every time, which is we got about an hour left, and we got like 9 or 10 people signed up. So
Make that 8 or 9. because I was on there, but I'm taking my name off for today.
Okay, so she's graciously stepping down
But we
from
still need to
her
keep it to
position.
like 2 pieces per person.
Yeah, so if
Like
we could
one-
just keep it to, 2 to 3 pieces tops, try to keep it under 10 minutes, that way we can get everybody in who signed up. We would appreciate that. We got a late start because when we first came in, only like 5 people were here. I'm sure that was due to the weather. But I'm gonna keep the explanation short even and move to the next person on the list so everybody gets a chance. So,
Our next person is a music person, and she does very lovely music. So please, give a very warm welcome and round of applause for Ashley.
You gonna get the card?
I think so, we're into that. Check.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, the song is called Asylum, and it's by 7 Minutes in Heaven. I may be growing up, but I will always be a kid. I'll insist that I am happy. If you ask, I'll plead the fifth. And I've watched the sun come up more times than I'd admit. I'm growing really tired of questioning the way I live. Someone medicate this cancer. Need to find an answer before we find that it's too late. The only truth behind the matter, within all this batter, causing us to lose our way. I realize my whole life I've been trying to fit in, saying nothing all won't matter. We're all dying in the end. Is it really all that selfish to be wanting something more? If acceptance is the key, then why am I still so bored? Someone medicate this cancer. Need to find an answer before we find that it's too late. The only truth inside the matter, within all this batter, causing us to lose our way. The next song I'm gonna do is called The Lucky One by Taylor Swift. To town with a made-up name in the angel city, chasing fortune and fame. Camera flashes make it look like a dream. You've had it figured out since you were in school. Everybody loves pretty, everybody loves cool. So overnight, you look like a 60s queen. Another name goes up in lights, just like diamonds in the sky. And they tell you now you're the lucky one. Yeah, they tell you now you're the lucky one. Can you tell me now who's the lucky one? Oh, oh, oh. Now it's big like cars and really air views. Saying lover in the foyer doesn't even know you. And the secrets in the splashed on the news front page. And they'll tell you that you're lucky, but you're so confused. 'Cause you don't feel pretty, you just feel used. And all of the young things will line up to take your place. Another name goes up in lights. You wonder if you'll make it out alive. And they tell you now you're the lucky one.
about this?
Come on, Brody.
Running parts.
Back and forth. Yeah.
What, the music stand?
Alright, this is called Coffee and Cigarettes by Never Shout Never. Coffee and cigarettes are my only escape. I've got my cup of joe, my pack of stoves, and I'm on my way downtown to set up shop and sing my cares away. So won't you sing with me, 'cause it's cold outside and I'm feeling kind of lonely. Friday nights are always the same in this town. I'm looking up, but I'm feeling kind of down. So I'll light this cigarette and smoke the night away. And I hope that Saturday will be the day when everything feels okay. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da, da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da. Coffee and cigarettes are best when shared with you. We'll go to Waffle House or your mom's house and share a cup or two. Yeah, I have friends, but they have friends, and they have parties, and I'm so awkward. So what do you say? Just as friends, we see a movie this weekend. Alright, okay. Friday nights are always the same in this town. I'm looking up, but I'm feeling kind of down. So I'll light this cigarette and smoke the night away. And I hope that Saturday will be the day when everything feels okay.
Yeah, Ashley! Okay, so next we have Mary.
Alright.
Mary.
That's me.
Mary, come on up, Mary. Come on down. You're the next contestant on Collab Nite. Okay. All right. So yeah, we're getting down here. Getting down here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Wait, Mary or Lanie?
You're calling
Okay,
yourself
sorry.
Mary now, Lanie?
There's two people in this.
He's making up names. Last month he made up a name, I think.
My name's Mary. This is dedicated to Ryan. There once was an old and somewhat wise woman who everyone called Grandy. She just suffered a big loss in her life. This is the story of how Grandy faced her loss by setting out to make tear soup. For many years, the custom of making tear soup has been forgotten. As people's lives became more rushed, they found it much easier to pull soup in a can from the shelf and heat it on the stove. But several years ago, Grandy got a taste of a well-seasoned tear soup. One of her friends made it from scratch after her child died. As soon as Grandy tasted the rich flavor of that carefully made soup, she promised herself never again to assume that quicker was better. But wait, I'll let her tell you about it.
Thank you. You're on good. Well, you're just gonna have to imagine I got a stove here. Kitchen's kind of sparse. Shoot, I'm not used to having people in my kitchen, so you'll have to forgive me. I wonder which pot I should use. This one might be about right. A big loss calls for a big pot. I've got to have room for all the memories. all the feelings, all the tears. I better put on my apron. You know, making tear soup can get really messy. You might wonder, where does all the stuff come to go in the tear soup? Well, let me tell you. Mostly it's tears. Sometimes I sob. Sometimes I weep quietly. And sometimes when I feel like it's safe, I just wail away. Lots of tears for this soup. The hard part is that making this soup's a one-person job. You have to do it by yourself. Most people don't like being around tear soup. Well, let's see how it tastes so far. Kind of salty and bitter. You might wonder what the ingredients are. Well, mostly they're memories. The good, the bad, the sad, the funny things that happened. I walk around the house. I find things here and there in the living room, in the bedroom. Good ones there. And I come back to the kitchen and I put them in the pot and I stir them up. You know, eventually I run out of things to add. And I just feel cold and sad. You know, I look out the window and everything seems to be going on in everybody else's life, and in mine it's just stopped. My neighbors Eldrima and Beatrice came over. They were trying to cheer me up, but the room just filled with words. But the smell of tear soup was still there. Really, all I needed was a hug and a knowing glance. Some days I wanted just someone to listen to me. One day in the supermarket, I said to a lady in the produce aisle, I said, "Would you like a cup of my tear soup?" She looked at me like I was a little crazy. People don't really like other people's soup. You know, it helped a lot when my sister Sarah came to visit. She came in and she just gave me a big hug and she said, "I'm so sorry it's taken this long to get here. I'm here, I'll do anything you need, but mostly I'm just going to listen." So we sat around the kitchen table and every once in a while I'd go over and I'd stir the soup. And she said, "You know, let's make some bread to go with that soup." So we mixed up the bread and we started to knead that bread, and I was pounding that bread and pounding that bread and pounding that bread, and it felt so good just to get out some of that energy. She said, "Well, why don't we go take a walk?" I said, "Well, you know, I just hardly have any energy. I feel like I've got concrete blocks strapped to my feet. If we walk too far, you're going to have to carry me home." But we went for a walk anyway. But then she had to go home. Mrs. Cries-a-Lot, my neighbor, she called me up. She said, "I've been making tear soup for years. I've got the recipe down pat." I told her, "Nah, this pot, it's got my name on it. I'll use my own recipe." Sometimes people would ask me things like, "Are you done with that soup? It's been a month now. Don't you think you should go out a little bit?" Sometimes it helps to just write in my journal some of my recipe for tear soup. Writing all those memories down really helps. I try to pay attention to my soup because if this stuff boils over, ooh, it smells terrible. Just terrible. I remember my mom's house once, the tear soup overflowed. You could smell that for weeks. My friend Lynn started to make her own pot of tear soup, and I invited her to a tear soup gathering. It's all the people who are cooking tear soup at the same time, and it's great because no one says that their recipe is better than yours, and you can even cry a little and people don't mind. Well, one day, my grandson Jordan said, "Mom says you're making tear soup. What's that all about?" I said, "Well, tear soup is a way of dealing with loss from a person or a thing by thinking about the memories and working through it." I said, "Remember when your mom lost your baby brother just before he was born and she just sat around holding that baby blanket? She was making tear soup. And remember when Billy, well, his dog died and Billy didn't want to go out and play anymore? Lots of times you don't want to feel like having fun when you're making tear soup. And your Aunt Meg, remember when her husband left her and they had to move? Oh, there was a big pot of tear soup in that house when she got divorced." Well, Jordan said, "How do you know when you're done making tear soup?" I said, "Well, you know, you just run out of things to put in it. And all of a sudden one day you decide that you're hungry for something else other than tear soup. But some tear soup has to cook longer than others, but when you decide you're kind of done with it, you can put it in the freezer and then later, if you need to, you can take it out." I told Jordan, I said, "Well, I've learned that grief, like a pot of soup, the longer it simmers and the more you put in it, the better it is. I've also learned that people will say kind of bad things to you or things that upset you, and they really don't mean to make you sad or hurt you. Most importantly, I've learned that deep down inside me, even when I'm feeling the most cold and alone, that there really is something that will help me survive making tear soup." Jordan looked at me and he said, "Oh, Grandy, what will I do when you die?" I just looked at Jordan and I said, "Well, honey, I'll give you my recipe for tear soup."
Finally, a skit.
Finally.
Theater on the stage. That's good.
So let's give him another hand. All right, so up next we have Tyree, Devin, so playing some guitar, so give a hand up.
All right!
Vern, is this your first time on stage? Well guys, an even warmer welcome, it's his first time up here!
While I'm getting set up here, I'd like to recognize some important people that came to hear. My granddaughter, Adina, my music partner actually, and many times she plays a lot more instruments than I do. She plays fiddle, guitar, clarinet, flute, all this stuff. Anyway, and with her, Aubrey, my great-granddaughter, and Aaron, her dad, and do a couple. This is my 2 most recent songs. One of them, you know, when you take a picture, when you look at a picture, you're dealing with history by definition. This picture, or this first song, is a tribute to old pictures and the memories that they can evoke. Is a journey back in time, looking through the mirror at back roads of my mind, helping me remember when my life was you and I, following old pictures back in time, old pictures, going back in time, old memories. In the night, old heartache, fade in the morning light, old pictures in my mind. Pictures I'm looking at, set in shades of gray, wrinkled bits of paper that soon will fade away. In my mind, those images in the brightest hues, memories of when life was me and you. Old pictures, going back in time, old memories. Haunt me in the night, old heartache, fade in the morning light, old picture in my mind. Images I'm seeing now, stained anew with tears. One for every heartache, one for every year. Maybe someday I'll go back, look at them again, when my fading memory starts to mend. Old pictures, going back in time, old memories, haunt me in the night, old heartache, fade in the morning light, old pictures in my mind.
All right.
My great-granddaughter loves to sing along with people. And this one's a little bit more, even more personal. This is my newest song. And in my life, there's starting a long time ago, 50 years ago, when my first daughter was born, been a succession of baby girls. Whatever feelings you have for your sons, there's always something special about baby girls. And so I have 2 daughters, 7 granddaughters, including that one, and 3 great-granddaughters, including that little one. And so this is simply called, Adina, why don't you just bring her up and sit down here. Abby, you can sing with me, sweetheart. I look into her eyes and I see heaven. And I see you look back at me. Look of your expression fills my heart. I have loved you from the start. And I ask you, do you love me? You answer, yes I do. I love you, Dad. Up to the sky. I look at your sweet smile and I see beauty. And I see your light smiling back at me. The wonder of your smile fills my heart. I have loved you from the start. You answered, yes I do. I love you, Grandpa. Up to the sky. I hold you close and feel your sweet embrace. I feel your tiny hands upon my face, and the wonder of your touch fills my heart. I have loved you from the start. And I ask you, do you love me? And you answer, yes I do. I love you, Papa. That's what she calls me, and that's what she calls me. Up to the sky. And for all the baby girls in my heart, I have loved you from the start.
Yeah, give it up one more time. Next here on this list here is Alex Markoff.
Alex is a poet and he knows it.
Get all poetic for him one time.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
So if you do three?
You can do
rows?
1 to 2.
Okay.
If they're short, you can do 3. We're just running out of
I'll
time.
do two.
Speak fast, really fast. No.
Take your time.
Oh, you're right.
Soak it in.
Okie dokie. Here we are. The poet revealed his passion for life. Or at least he revealed it to himself, or to someone or something that was a lot like him. There was no watery saliva in his throat. In the middle of this word, there was no saliva. But why speak of saliva or anything else that could temporarily choke him in this instant, in the middle of this word, in the middle of a life that speaks in the middle of this word?
Somewhere in the midst of all this static, he uses the word now, and uses this word on other occasions to place the reader somewhere in time. Now is a different now than the previous one, and yet both are correct. The original succession narrows down to the current one. Hey, good looking, he says to his own image in the mirror. So, after many moments such as this, the poet uses the one that is used here. Hey, good looking. The poet types in a phrase that he could easily make non-existent if he chose to do so. Whether the poet revealed his passion for life or not is up for debate. But after all the times he has said, after all this time, he can at least assure you that he has arrived here. You guys hear me okay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always, the microphone, it could be like this, or could it be, yeah.
It's getting every word.
All right. All right, well, so, sometimes, this concept about children playing, it's like, sometimes children playing is like the most random succession of events, and they don't even know what's going on. So, and somebody watching them doesn't know what's going on. It's just children, and they're playing. So, this is inspired by that. Children at play. The same group of kids happen upon themselves and one another. They do the same useless things in the sizable, well-maintained yard between apartment buildings. There's the sort of fruity, preoccupied boy, the motherly older girl, the boy who I've talked to before, whose head is much too big for his body. There's the blonde-haired girl who approached me that one time in the middle of a nonsensical conversation with herself, intense blue eyes. Here she is. She does a 360-degree spin in the grass, staggers and recovers. The fruity one swings an arm behind his back with momentum gained from his hips. The big-headed boy also stands irreverent. The older girl tends to her younger sister. After a moment of persuasive eye contact, they run off in the opposite direction. The big-headed boy clearly notices and looks up at the fruity one, who in a way dismisses the interaction completely. Somewhere in here, someone touched someone else. Here she is, the crazed princess herself, as she runs up to the fruity one, smiles, and taps him on the chest. The big-headed boy flinches, launches. The fruity one doesn't seem to care, then suddenly also launches. There is no ball. There is no balance. No one on the pitcher's mound. There is no focus. Nothing really to do. These are the yards where our imaginations began to twirl as we summon something that is already in front of us. As the night approaches, the children retreat indoors, except for the fruity one, who retires the day with a song sung to himself, sung to the twilight, to the air, and to all the other ghosts and their moving mouths. Thanks.
All right, one more time for Alex. Every time you do poetry, I perk up because it's always very intense and very observational. Really cool perspective. So yeah. Also, another plug-in, if you like to make art and you need a space to do it, and you need to get out of your house, or you have a very strict landlord who's like, you cannot get paint anywhere, or I will chop off all the hair on your head and sue you for everything. If you need a space where you can breathe and make art, or write, or make music.
Must Art Mondays.
Yeah, that thing. Must Art
Stone
Mondays.
Street.
Yeah, 6 to 9 every Monday. Right now it's at the Stone Street Residency, 605 Stone, the Purple House. But it may move to other locations in the future. We have a summer series planned in some parks under the tent, which I'm repairing in the corner. So yeah, So, get it? Ha ha ha, pun. Up next, because I'm sewing. Okay, never mind. Is there a Yoshi vintage in the house?
Yoshi vintage!
Alright,
Once, twice,
hold up.
one time, four time, two time, one time.
That's a pretty cool name, isn't it?
Yoshi.
Yoshi vintage. That's really cool. Okay, well, how about Odd Pike? Is Odd Pike here?
Yeah.
Are you Odd Pike or Yoshi vintage?
I'm on break. Do you want me to call her? I'm sorry.
Yes, please. She's up next. Okay,
Couldn't hear that.
all right, so we're gonna have these two come up.
Oh yeah, we got time.
Yeah, we do. Okay.
You're just gonna plug in right up there.
Oh, okay. Hey, come on over.
Give her
Give it up for
applause.
Yoshi. Show us what?
Okay.
Very good.
Okay, before I perform, I was going to say that my album come on March 22nd, and so I wanted to actually just say a little snippet of what I was going to do, because like being a hip hop artist, a lot of people don't hear like the singing music I make, and so it's not. By the time like the 18th of next month, it should be recorded and everything. So you will probably be the first people that hear the album. So. This is one of the songs. It's called Freestyles of the Conscious. I'm not gonna say the whole song. I know people have to go. Okay, and then I'll perform one of the songs off the. Yeah. Okay. You know, my theories, conspiracies, and psychology. No one ever understands that part of me. Study searching for the lost part of me. Study searching for someone that can power me. Study looking for Satan in the stars. Study looking for humans on Mars. I'm so complicated with my compliments. The insecurities cause these side effects. Even the moon has flaws. Even the stars do fall. And even the sun has darkness, and even the conscience has blockage. I'm steady looking for love in the lost. I'm steady looking for lost in the found. So tell me when that sobering come back around. Maybe I can make it on that side of town. Man, I don't know, I don't know. Man, I don't know, I don't know. I think it's way better to tell you, but I guess I gotta show. Okay, that's just, it's kind of... That was called Freestyles of the Conscious. It will be, hopefully, it will be on the album. This is actually a song off the album. It's called 86. It was written like 2 years ago. So it's kind of like, it's not the exact music I make, but it was like, it's just like a little fun song I did.
5941. Sorry.
What?
5941.
Okay.
Bye, her album. It's gonna rock. You can already tell. Give her some applause.
Really good.
I don't know how to do this. But the chord is.
Is it not for okay, yeah. Just my tennis guys. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're alright. I'm sorry.
There we go, I got it.
Oh, the beat, I mean, the beginning is kind of long, so you're going to see me standing here until the beat drop.
Oh my god. Sorry guys.
Okay. own self living. Snoop and Drake posters all on my wall. Staring at them on TV like they're really that tall. Box braids and bangs on that left eye style. Boys in here, bigger Versace and that smile. Ooh, could really date back then. So we do a house party, invited all our friends. Can we go back to 86, 86? Crop tops and rips and rips. Can we go back to 86, 86? High tops and red lipstick. Can we go back to 86, 86? House parties, trouble, trouble. And if your mama found out. Oh, I did. What?
Yeah.
The next favorite rapper, MC3, no other request, cause he was from Block City and he rapped it too. Influenced me to do music, inspired me too. East Coast, West Coast, I'm a mixture of both. Like Tupac and Biggie, I'm the fan of the both. Yoshi from the block, the game on lock. To the rap industry, I'm hip-hop's Barack. Can we go back to 86, 86? Crop tops and rips and rips. Can we go back to 86, 86? High tops and red lipstick. Can we go back to 86, 86? House parties, trouble, trouble. And if my mama found out, we was all the trouble. Saturday night, we had to sneak out late. Told our friends to hold on, we got to sneak out the gate. Pulled up to the party in our homeboy's car. It wasn't homeboy's car, it was his mama's car. Didn't ask no questions, that's y'all ride home. Pulled up to the house playing the loudest songs. We danced and danced, we boogied down to homeboys. Mama came home. Can we go back to 86, 86? Crop tops and rips and rips. Can we go back to 86, 86? High tops and red lipstick. Can we go back to 86, 86? House parties, trouble, trouble. And if my mama found out, we were all in trouble. I'm just gonna do just something else, that's gonna be on the album. It was called Hear Me Say, and it's basically about like the world and like how people don't see the real problems that's in the world. We see just like the violence and stuff like that, but we don't see these problems that people have at home. Like we got kids like cutting themselves, and like we got people who just because somebody, like drugs and stuff like that, just because, we look at it as, that person just like that, it's not gonna, like, they never gonna get off of it or nothing like that, but we got people who really, they just have problems, and, it's just nobody there to really help them. Everybody don't have somebody like we do. We have people that probably can, help and won't, like, can listen to a problem. Everybody don't have that, so this what this song was basically about. It went like, I'm not gonna say the whole thing, just the first verse. This song is for the boy who was sitting on the porch and watched his brother get killed right in front of him. And for the little girl who mother told her dad would be right back, that she never ever heard from him. And for the teen that's sitting in the room, doors off, lights cut. Hold on, let me start over. Okay. This song is for the boy who was sitting on the porch and watched his brother get killed right in front of him. And for the little girl who mother told her dad would be right back, that she never ever heard from him. And for the teen that's sitting in the room, lights off, door closed, and they cut themselves because they don't know self-love, they hooked on drugs, so they out here sleeping on drugs. And for the homeless man that won't warm hands, ask you for $1 and you walk right past him. And for my friend who can't stay sober because he feel like his life is over. And for my upcoming artist, stay bold, don't say it's so just to get control. It calls for my families that lost their families from being unarmed, such a tragedy. Trayvon, Mike Brown, rest in peace, Black Lives Matter, but I don't think they feeling me. We killing us even without killing us, we killing us, but I still don't think they hearing us. And if I die, I won't change today. And if I die, I won't change today.
Much love, much props right there. Next up, moving right along, we got Mr. Pike.
Hey guys, this is my first time here, and I was talking to performing, so I'm just gonna play one of my shorter songs. This song is called This song is called Desolate, and the metaphor for this is I didn't really know how to express myself, and this is how I felt. This is how this song shows how I felt. All right. All right. rolling, never even chosen to play on sports. Let me just go in, let me go and tour it. Rock a couple shows, man, but I don't know, man. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going. Wandering through the woods, everything's foreign. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going. Wandering through the woods, everything's foreign. I'll play one more for you guys.
Wake up!
Alright, this next song is the song that I made for my first music video, and it's called Gates of Atlas. I'm really nervous, guys. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Make a mistake.
I'll try to at least. What? Metal charge my metal blade, then I stab you in the face. Let the rain wash away to my family in disgrace. But you know I gotta stay in my own little lane. My song's an outplay when our mind is erased. I'ma go inside a vase where my ashes will stay. Put the blade back in the case. I can live another day. All I do is throw shit at these fools' corpse graves. I feel like I could never win, but look at me now. I'm feeling like a sin, feeling like a wish, never granted to the gates of Atlas. Look into my eyes, tell me what you see, 'cause all I see now is a sea full of tea. Arizona that is in off the Atlas. Mine is off the like jumping gymnastics, jumping chicks in the mist, and we out here with slick wrist, silver hat to the back, just like Ash. Catch 'em, we gon' catch 'em. If not, we gon' rack 'em. I feel like I could never win, but look at me now. I'm feeling like a sin, feeling like a wish. Never granted to the gates of Atlas. Thank you. Oh my God.
Do you want me to put this over here?
I don't know. The sun, but I don't know.
Pike, way to go!
Yeah.
We got one more.
Because Lanie already went. Lanie, are you going again?
I was married. I was just doing my introduction.
Okay, we got one more on the list here.
Two more then, because Lanie's still doing it, right?
If
If we have time, well, first, before Lanie, we got Christian Pavkovich.
Yeah, sure.
Pavkovich.
I gotta go get my guitar.
Guitar, hurry, run. Just kidding.
We can pronounce the word pretty hard.
Let's
So, while he gets his guitar, let's do a little events pop quiz, because we can do that. If you are stranded on a Wednesday night and suddenly get the gut vibe urge to go to a creative meeting, where would it be?
Churchill.
Churchill's. What time?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. And
Oh, wait,
what
that's
would-
our meeting.
Yeah, the Creative Alliance. Okay.
That's the Creative Alliance meeting.
Yeah.
What about the writer's circle?
The Writer's Circle.
Not yet.
Yeah, the Writer's Circle is on hiatus, as it traditionally would be at this time of year. The Writer's Circle is traditionally on hiatus for the students for their study
tomorrow.
purposes. The Writer's Circle will resume this spring. We have several writers and artists who are in the process of collaborating to facilitate this organizational group.
Writer's Circle will be cracking
I might have a dime, but I don't know.
snow and ice from the sun in the spring. And it will blossom and bloom, and we will write and flourish together in a circle. Okay. Christian.
Did you really need a coin?
Pavkovich.
Or a pig? A pig?
Thank
Oh,
you so
cool,
much.
cool. We need a hook. You know what? We really do. No. Yeah.
What are you talking about, the French horse thing again? Oh. That was something.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
This is my first time here. I'm a little nervous, yeah. So I'm gonna play two songs. This first one was written by me and a friend of mine, and the second one was actually, I think, the first song I ever wrote, and that was a long time ago. So be gentle, please. So this next one, I know I said it was the first one I ever wrote, but I actually just finished it 2 weeks ago. So I started it probably like 3 years ago and thought it was okay, but never really knew how to finish it until a while ago. So here we go. in the den, and you fall inside, nowhere to hide. But it don't matter anymore. You're lying dead on the floor, and the lies you used to tell that kept you from yourself. And you know, now we wait for the day you come back to get rid your sentence, a lifetime of wasted moments. I think I'm done now.
Great job!
Come back next month.
I mean, there's
So,
I think we got one more person to
we
film.
come to the last name on
Yep.
the list.
We got
Let's
6 minutes.
see. And we have 6 minutes,
Yep.
or no, I'm saying, I'm reading 10. Can we fit in this last person?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. The last final name on the list is Lanie Nix.
Hey, Lady Nix.
Go Lanie! Guys, give it up for Lanie!
Okay, guys. Well, this is just a mishmash of mics and wires. Look at this one.
Spaghetti file.
It is spaghetti file. All right, well, I've been on my journey of storytelling, and Nadia said, let's write it all down and like focus it and all this stuff. But this is Lanie in the raw. This is how I collect my
Lanie in
thoughts,
the
and I
raw.
do this on
I'll
you
give you a
guys.
caption.
The caption?
Lanie in the raw.
Lanie in the raw, that's me. And Lanie unplugged. I'm good at being unplugged. So, anyways, yeah, I was kind of thinking about that, and I'm kind of thinking now about maybe doing some writing. That's kind of a big scary thing for me. But at any event, I thought I'd leave you guys tonight with a bedtime story. Y'all can go off, so I'll put you to sleep with this, and then we'll all go off into the cold. So, okay, so here goes. Lately I've been telling you guys like wonderful stories of my little Buddha stepdaddy, my Japanese stepdad with little Tony and what have you, and little square feet. Anyways, but I thought I'd like tell you a little more about my other side of my family. So, depending on the fence post that you're sitting on, there's 7 kids in my family. Now I have 4 parents, doesn't everybody? And I'm, of course, the child of divorce from the time I was 4. The last time I really remember my parents ever being in the room, my biological parents, I was 4. Count them. I was 4. And I would say maybe even 3. I was little. And so my mom and my dad, there's 4 of us. And then if you, from my mom and my stepdad's side, there's 5 of us. And from my dad and my stepmom's side, there's 7 of us. So it's sort of like pick your fence post. And we're a patchwork quilt family where we don't see the stitches. So we don't use the words stepbrother, stepsister, half-brother, any of that mess. Mostly, a lot of it just gets too confusing. So, anyways, my mom and dad have never been in a room together since I could ever possibly remember. And they've had this lovely 50-year war that they pitted everybody in the middle of, and all this kind of fun stuff that all goes along with divorced children. And so anyways, this one particular Christmas was pretty interesting because I have never once in my entire lifetime, never once, been in the same room with all 7 siblings. It's never happened. Never once have I been in the same room with all four of my parents. I mean, this is like a bizarre thing, right? Well, this one particular Christmas, I was in Minnesota, and my dad and my stepmom were flying into town to stay at my sister's house for Christmas. Now, my mom was up there, and typically she hears the word my dad's coming, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna go see my friends in Las Vegas, or I'm gonna go to Philadelphia, wherever it is she goes. And she leaves, and that sort of thing, so never the two do they mix. Well, this one Christmas, my sister said, you know, Dad and Maribel are coming in for Christmas, and just thought I'd let you know. And my mom said, oh, that'll be lovely, I think I'll stay too. And my sister and I just like, really? Did you just say that? Didn't say anything to her, just kind of looked at her. My mom just kind of skipped off, and my sister and I are thinking, okay, there's like a shift in the planets, like what's going on here, there's something going weird. So this time all comes up, and my dad and my stepmom are flying in, and I said to my sister, her name's Tyree, I said, oh, I so want to be with you when you tell Dad that Mom's going to be here. This is great. Now, I forgot one little tiny small thing by now, just so you know, I'm 32 years old at this point in time, okay, so that's all these years, so my sister, I'm saying, let's go, we're going to do this. So we go pick him up to the airport, we go to this little restaurant, and as we're sitting there, I'm waiting for my sister to tell my dad, and waiting, she's not. So I'm kicking her under the table, and my sister's glaring at me, and I'm kicking her, and she's glaring at me. And we're just like, you know, two 9-year-olds. And I'm just laughing inside. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I'm so glad this is not my chore to tell my dad this. So at some point, my sister says, you know, Mom's gonna be here for Christmas too, isn't that great? And my dad almost choked. Oh yes, that'll be great. And my stepmom, who's like this lovely Southern woman, gave that little pressed lip smile, which means like this is not good. And she pressed lip smile and said, oh, that's lovely. So anyways, I'm sitting there like just about to fall out of my chair. I'm just like, oh my goodness. So my dad has never stayed at my house. My father has crossed my threshold 3 times in my life. This is true. Everything goes through my sister. That's a whole other story for another day. But I was house sitting for a friend of mine on the Worth Parkway. It's a beautiful area in Minneapolis. And so I just chimed in and said, you know, I'm house sitting for Jody over on the Worth Parkway if y'all like to stay. Now my father, who has never crossed paths, instantly said, that would be great. I think that would just be great because we don't want to have, you know, just like make Terry's house too crowded or anything. So I was amazed by that. Well, so that's the first amazement of this Christmas. The next thing that happens is we go to my sister's house on Christmas Eve. And my mom, who hasn't been around a whole lot, all of a sudden comes bounding in the door, like just bounding in the door. And when you look at me, you see my mom, except my mom is like me on steroids. You just have no idea. And so she comes bounding in the house, and my dad and my stepmom and all these people are in the house, and my dad and my stepmom are sitting on the couch. Now, my mother has not talked to my father in the same room since I was 4 years old, and I'm now 32. And she comes running up to my, that what she's saying, Merry Christmas, everybody. She comes running to my dad with this loaf of rye bread and goes, Merry Christmas, Gene. And my dad's like, looking at my mom. Now this rye bread is something that my dad really, really, really loves. And in some respects, I think this was my mother's way of just jabbing my stepmom in the eye. I don't know. And it's not even like my stepmom had anything to do with their life, so I don't know. So my dad's just kind of shocked, and I guess my mom uses this as the icebreaker. So time goes by, and we're sitting downstairs, and we're having Christmas dinner, and my stepmother is on my left side, and my mom is on the right side at this little card table. And I take a bite of food, and I look at my stepmom, and I take a bite of food, and I look at my mom, and I take a bite of food, and it was the most surreal moment of my life. I was like, punch me every once in a while. Like, really? Bite of food, bite of food. So this goes on for a while. So then we're upstairs in the living room later, and my grandmother had passed away earlier that year. And so my mom and my grandmother had stayed in connection with letters and stuff, unbeknownst to my father this whole time, but I knew it. And as we're sitting there in the living room, people are just chiming in and talking about things. Well, my grandmother came up. And in this moment, all of a sudden, my mom looks at my dad and she says, your mom made the best chicken. And my dad looked at my mom and he said, you know, I remember one time you ate 2 whole chickens. And these 2 people started laughing so hard, I thought they were going to stop breathing. And it was in that instant, as I looked at these people, I went, oh my goodness, these 2 people actually knew each other and played together and connected somewhere in life. And it was that moment that I knew I was not conceived by immaculate conception. Yeah. Well, I remained a Christmas present, right? So anyways, my story of love. Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day.
Is that it?
Great.
Okay, Terry.
Representing the Creative Alliance, I would once again like to thank everyone who kindly came out and fought this cold weather to not only be a part of the audience, but to share and express your art and creativity with us all. I am honored to be in your presence, and I ask that you please look for us on the 3rd Wednesday next month right here at Good Beans.
Yay!